what was really the feeling when Dre said that he's leaving Death Row?
That's not how it happened.
That's not how it happened. How did it happen?
Well, it's in my book. Suge had a meeting with Jimmy, and he told Jimmy, he says, "Look, man, I can't do nothing with Dre. You're gonna have to take him off my hands, man. I just can't." But see, you gotta remember, Pac was fire, and he still had Snoop, so
Yeah.
he had
Yeah,
all
Dog
that.
Pound,
And we
Rage.
and he had that in-house producer, so he didn't feel like he needed Dre at this point. So he called Jimmy, and they met, and he told him, he said, "You take Dre. You take Dr. Dre." And Jimmy was like, "No, man, think about it." And Jimmy's going back and forth, no, Suge, no. Eventually, Jimmy said, "Okay."
Well, but didn't originally Jimmy had Tupac, and then he wanted Tupac on Death Row, I had heard, right? Or did that not happen that way?
Jimmy wanted...
Because Tupac was signed to Interscope, right?
Tupac was signed to Interscope, but I don't know how that worked out because Suge promoted him strictly as a Death Row artist. So
I understand that. No, I had just heard that Jimmy felt that Death Row was a better place for Tupac than Interscope. And
because of the style of music and stuff. Well,
exactly.
yeah, I heard that, but it was all the same thing at that point.
Okay, so you're saying that Suge actually wanted Dre off of Death Row and on Interscope?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Jimmy said, "Sure."
After a while, Jimmy finally said, "Okay, man.
I'll
take him.
I'll take Dr. Dre."
And then that's when the firm came out. He remembered a couple flops that Dre had because he didn't know what to do with him at that point.
Right, that Aftermath Presents was probably Dre's worst project ever.
It was and I totally love his work, but jeez. And I kept going, you guys, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. And he did.
He definitely got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dre leaves Death Row to start Aftermath. Tupac is on Death Row. Mm-hmm. You actually sang on some Tupac songs.
Yeah, You Can Run the Streets with Your Thug.
Right. Were you cool with Tupac? You guys were friendly?
Absolutely.
What do you think was your best Tupac story, being around all day?
Well, because every time we would see each other, we had this kind of ongoing joke where he was like 5'4". He was almost my height. So I would always say he was standing up, and I would just go, "Stand up when a lady walk in the room." And he would always go, "Lower your voice when you talk to a man." So it was funny every time we did it. It was just, he was really cool. I just loved being in his presence, his energy, because he always said something educational to you, just inspirational. He really was a very unique human being.
Any stories of Tupac wilding out or anything else like that?
Pac always did. Pac was, he had short man syndrome. Let's be brutally honest. I mean, there was times when he was ready to, go, because he,
Yeah, I didn't realize he was 5'4".
He was just, that was my favorite joke with him. But just as cute as pie, though, but he, of course he was
I just looked it up. They're saying he's 5'9".
I assure you that Pac is not 5'9".
Okay.
Is that Wikipedia?
Wikipedia is saying 5'9". I guess we'll never know. But
I'm telling you, he would be right here with me. Like, stand up with a woman. That's where I got it from.
Now, at one point, after Dre left, it seemed like people started, Death Row started dissing Dre. You know what I mean? Like Tupac started dissing Dre.
Well, because they felt like, I can tell you why, because Pac, which also did a few things about Snoop too, because he kind of felt that their loyalty, that they were, that they weren't loyal. And that was all it was. It really wasn't personal. It was just, it wasn't real, like, it wasn't violent like that. Not to me. He was just saying, to be loyal, to somebody who's helped you. There's stories that Suge needs to tell on his own that he did for those guys that is not for me to say. Mm-hmm. And it is what it is. And I think that's what Pac was more so trying to say without saying.
Sure. Now, I remember Pac accused Dre of being gay.
Man, those stories started way before him. So I don't even know. I don't think Pac started that rumor.
No? Well, but Pac kept it going.
Well, he may have kept it going, but he didn't start it.
I mean, any truth to any of those rumors, from what you know?
You know, can't say that I seen it, but it's in my book. And he didn't start that rumor. He didn't.
So what did you say in your book?
You have to get the book. You gotta get this book.
So at one point, Corrupt left, I think after Dre, right? Snoop left.
Snoop left right after Dre. Corrupt and everyone else followed.
Really?
Actually, the last one that was...
I just interviewed Corrupt. He told me he left first.
After Dr. Dre left, I was the first one to leave. Not Snoop, not Daz, nobody. Me, I was the first one to leave from the Dog Pound.
Right after Dre left.
Right after Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre left, then I left.
Not that I
After
remember.
Dre. Well, after Dre.
Snoop was the next one to go because Snoop and Pac was still here. Snoop should have been the next in command, we all felt. But it didn't. And then they all kind of went with him, so maybe... I know Corrupt left in that, and then Daz was still kind of on the fence. He didn't really know because he was more a producer. So at that point he was just like, well, "Look, man, if I can still produce, then I'm cool with that." But then he left, and then the Pac's what was Pac's he had I can't remember their names. Pac's
Outlaws?
group.
The Outlaws.
Was it Outlaws? Yeah. And then they eventually left.
Well, that was out, and then Pac ended up getting killed.
Yeah.
I've kissed him, and he's a good kisser, and that's all I'm gonna say for that.
Yeah, he's a good kisser.
He's an excellent kisser, probably one of the best I've ever had.
I'm not gonna lie, man. To be non-biased. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It's been like 4 or 5 days, man. It's like, I don't know. It might be a little too late. I don't know, man. It depends on how hard he come. He gotta come with some ether type shit, man.